Welcome back. We have Bebop. She's a pretty girl. We're gonna introduce you to Bebop. Come here, Bebop. I mean, she's a very friendly bird. She's gonna say hi, everybody. She's a sexy bird too. So that's Bebop, and she's very sweet. So we want to introduce Bebop to the beehive. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the recap of the 2020 World Qualifier. And I want to show off my new shirt. I have a Speedway shirt today. Woo! Oh, enough of that. We're going to talk about the World Qualifier. And welcome back. Overall, the event turned out to be really a great event. And it was actually a cold December 12th. And they had a traffic jam on the freeway. There's a main freeway that goes to Paris, and that's like the 215. And I guess they had a blockage. So the riders had to come like the 15 freeway. She's making noises. 15 freeway and get off at I forgot the name of the off ramp, but it goes to Paris. And I've been on that one. It's a little windy road that goes like 15 miles. And they went ahead and they had to take a alternate route, but it looks like everyone made it. So that's really good. She's dancing for you. And the evening was highlighted by a perfect score of 15 points. And we interviewed the winner yesterday in the live stream. That was Max Romo, number 5. And Max had a pretty good evening, I would say. 15 points is not bad. I think you can't do any better than 15 points. So Max had a great night. And I was on my live stream on December 11th, I went ahead and was introducing all the riders. And then I said that, like, if you see Max Romo in line with you on the same race, you better have your A game on, because Max has been tearing up the racetrack all year long at the Paris Speedway. And Max is just doing great. So the thing is I guess nobody listened to me and they took Max lightly, and Max went ahead and maxed the score with 15. So that was pretty cool. And Max was a pretty cool guy. He was on our show yesterday, and our show went out. The internet just all of a sudden like black, and Max was walking around the room. I watched it later, and he was like eating pizza, and he was like talking like, it looks like I'm running the show now. Quiet. He says, I'm running the show now, and Max was really having a good time, and I'm like praying that Max was gonna hang in there with me, because I didn't know if the internet was gonna come back or not, and I was laughing my butt off when I saw Max like eating his pizza and like, hey, I'm the star of the show, and I was like laughing. Max is a really cool guy, and I really like that guy, and he's cool. So Max was a fun interview, and we hope to have some more interviews. I'd like to get Dylan, his brother, on, and a few other of these young top Speedway stars. They're all really good, and I'd like to go ahead and see if I can get them on, and it'd be really great. So I'm going to go ahead and maybe do that next time. I'll get another rider on. So it's really fun, and we have a pretty good crop of young riders now. So anyway, so that's it. So we had a good time with Max yesterday. He had that great score of 15. And I just told everyone that you got to watch out for Max, because this kid is like on fire. And I told Max yesterday, kind of, you're like a little like a lower disrespected in the top rung of riders. And Saturday night made everyone wake up and realize that Max is a top level rider, and he's always been a great rider. I mean, to say Max isn't a top level rider, that's like insane, because Max is really good, and the rest of those guys are pretty dang good too. But Max is one of those top cream of the crop, younger riders, but not young, and he's kind of like the mature age of the young riders, and he's doing really good. So Max Romo had a great year this year. And So also one of the things that really caught my eye, and I talked to Max about it, is that the GP series sent out a newsletter, and they talked about they're needing more speedway riders next year. Yes, can I help you? Yeah, dance. She's a dancer, and she's a singer too. She's cute. She's a cutie pie, and she's really sweet. I can pet her all day long. Hi, sweetheart. And she's my family pet. Her name is Bebop. Bebop. I caught Bebop when she was like, I didn't catch her. I raised her since she was like hatching from an egg from a breeder. So Bebop's been with me going on 11 years next birthday, and she's really sweet, and she likes to sing and dance. She's happy. She's never been hit. She has a really happy life. So that's a Bebop. But getting back to the speedway is that they're going to need more speedway riders next year in the British League and other leagues, the Swedish and the Danish leagues. And guys like Max and other guys are just waiting for like promoters to call them and to go ahead and like tell them like they need more riders. And American riders are pretty much in demand because Americans are pretty like, favored, and they've had a big history of success in Europe and all over. So we're expecting some promoters to go ahead and contact Max and other riders. I think Luke and Brock already have their rides set up, so they're probably not going to take anyone else. I imagine it's probably kind of hard to go too many teams, but guys like Max are really good, and they're waiting for those phone calls from the promoters. And they will get those phone calls because Max is an amazing rider, and there's some good young riders also coming up in American Speedway. So there's going to be a bright future, and Max is going to weigh out his options as well as everyone else to see if it's going to be to their advantage to ride in the British League. So the cream of the crop basically rises to the top, and we saw Saturday night that the cream of the crop rose to the top, and that's exactly what we saw in the Speedway. But just 2 points off of a perfect score was a really good rider, and he's the current United States champion. And who is that? It's Brock Nickel. Brock is an amazing rider. Anytime Brock gets on a speedway bike, Brock can rock. That guy is hardcore, and he's a great rider. And Brock only was 2 points off of behind Max. So, I mean, Brock was right there in the running for the championship. So he ended up in second place, which is okay because he still qualifies for that World Qualifier next May, I believe it is. They're going to have different pools, I think 4 pools and different countries and stuff. So Max and Brock are waiting to see where they fit in. Brock isn't really sure, like he has to see if it all fits in, which is cool. I think that's really smart. Max is going to check it out and see if it fits in. Brock is already going to be over there racing on like 2 different teams, so he's a shoo-in. There's no way you're going to get rid of Brock Nickel on that World Championship qualifier. I mean, that guy is in. There's no way he's not going to ride that thing if he's healthy. So, but Max, we're going to see what happens. If he has to, he'll go ahead and put his spot down to either Billy Gennaro, who got 3rd place. Hopefully, if that happens, Billy won't take it, and then we will give it to Luke Becker. So we would kind of want the young riders to advance and move along and to have that experience. So hopefully, Billy Gennaro, if that happens, and we don't know if that's going to happen, we're speculating, but if Billy Gennaro gets that number 2 spot, if, for example, that Max stays in America and rides, we hope that Billy Gennaro will pass that down to the amazing Luke Becker. So that's kind of would be our hope if that happened. But we hope that Max rides that qualifier. We want to see Max really rejuvenate his career. And I really think with his maturity, his support, and the guy is a really smart guy. I mean, that kid can just progress. He has a big cap ahead of him of learning and progress. in the British League if he decides to go that route, and we hope he does, because I think we're going to see some exciting things if Max goes over there, because we'll have Max, we'll have Brock, and we'll have Luke. So, and we have a bird right here. She wants to steal the show, so I apologize. She's too cute. She's too cute, and she's really sweet. It's the first big bird I had that I raised since her birth. I raised her in an incubator, and then she grew, and then she's very sweet and tame, but she doesn't like boys. She likes girls. So if you're a guy and you go out and reach for her, she'll like, ah. She's kind of crazy that way. So anyway, so that's what we got. We have Brock went ahead with 13 points. 13 points, and then we had a tie for third place between Luke Becker and Billy the Kid, the old man, Billy the Kid Gennaro. And it was a tie. And the AMA rulebook says in a tie, in the event of a tie, they're going to go ahead and have a tiebreaker for the top 3 spots. And third place is in the top 3 spots. So they had a tiebreaker, and it looked like Billy the Kid, he took down Luke Becker in that runoff. So Billy the Kid got the third place money, and so that was pretty good for Billy. And Luke got 4th. So that's kind of how that worked. And 5th place was Max Romo's younger brother, Dylan Romo. And Dylan Romo is an amazing rider. Yesterday I was talking, I got itch on my face. Yesterday, I was talking to Max about how he was so much better than Dylan, and then Max said, like, sorry to disagree with you, but you're wrong, dude. See, she's laughing. I was wrong, and that's true, because Dylan's a kind of a badass rider, and Dylan, if he, like, gets it on, Dylan can pretty much take anyone down. Dylan's equipment is not first rate, but if Dylan's equipment was a little better, Dylan has all the talent in the world. So if there's a British League promoter that wants to get one of the up-and-coming riders, I would suggest Dylan Romo. Stop. I would suggest that Dylan Romo would be one of those guys that some promoters would want to take a chance on, because he's young, he's fast, he's talented. Just get him on some good equipment, and that kid will win some races. And we want to get Dylan on the show. So we want to get all the young riders, but hopefully Dylan will come on the show soon, and we can have fun talking to Dylan and finding out his future plans. So that's Dylan Romo. He had 11 points for 5th place. Max said, like, Dylan's performance or his place finish in 5th did not show how good of a rider Dylan was. He was winning lots of races. Dylan just, he's a fabulous rider. So that's Dylan Romo. So, and so we have Dylan in 5th place, and also we have Dylan in 5th, and then I don't know who got 6th place here. Who got 6th place? We got 7th place. We have the Rocket, Russell Green. Do you know that guy, Russell Green? It's not Rick Woods the Rocket. It's not Ronnie Corey the Rocket. It's quiet. It's Russell Green the Rocket. And Russell did a really good job. He finished with 9 points at 7th place. He's a good, solid rider. Like I mentioned, every year Russell gets better and better and better. He's kind of like one of those unsung heroes. He's really good, but just nobody really pays attention to Russell. And he's a good rider. I mean, Russell's been riding. He's like 28 years old, and he's been riding for like 10 years now. I mean, the guy's fabulous. So behind Russell, in 8th place, we had Gino Manzares with 9 points. Actually, they tied 7th and 8th points. 7th and 8th place tied with 9 points. So Gino actually tied with 8th place. They didn't do a tiebreaker because the rules say, like, no tiebreaker after 3rd place. So Gino had a good night. He got 9 points, and he had a good, solid ride. And he has a little boy, a little tiny toddler, and he got a beautiful picture taken with his boy. And I guess his boy won the race, taking after Papa. a good Speedway rider. It runs in the Manzara's genes, good Speedway riders. And the little boy, his little son, did a fabulous job, and everybody just loved it. And Gino and his son had a really great photo opportunity and a chance to bond on the Speedway track. So we will have a future Manzares coming up, and he will be a very, very good rider. I am positive. So Gino had a good night, probably a better night with his kid than racing, but he did well, and he was in like seventh and eighth place in the spot. And in ninth place, we had the former US Speedway champion, Aaron Fox. Do you know Aaron Fox? He's a nice guy, and he's a gentleman, good personality. He rides with his brain. He's really smart, and he's just a smooth rider. Aaron just is a safe rider. If you want to ride with a safe rider, you ride with Aaron Fox, because he won't knock you off, and he's just a really good rider. People knock Aaron off, but he won't knock you off. So, but Aaron's a great rider, and he just is a great person. So Aaron got 9th, and 10th place was a tie between Blake Borello and Kyle Cunningham. Those are two young riders in Northern Cal that are doing really great. And they're just developing. They're really young and they're really inexperienced, but they have a lot of talent. And these guys are great. So you have Borello and Kyle Cunningham tied for 10th place. Not bad at all. So that's pretty good. And then the next we had in 12th place, because there was a tie between 9th and 10th. And then we go to 12th place. I don't know what happened to 11th. I don't know what happened. We just missed it. We'll check that out later. And then we have Fast Eddie Castro. And he came in 12th, I guess, with 4 points. And he had a good night. I mean, he probably didn't have a good night, but Eddie is a good rider, and he was the old man in that. Speedway is really a young man sport, to be at the highest level. We all know that. That's why old guys are retired, because we're no good anymore. But Eddie Castro is good, and he keeps riding, and he shows us that the old men can still be out there competing. And he ended up getting like 12th place with 4 points. And just, we wish Eddie to keep running. Him and Bobby Boogaloo Shorts will probably keep running till they're like 100 years old. Stay with it, Eddie. You'll make it. He'll probably win the national championship at like 99 years old. Eddie Castro, the oldest United States champion at age 99 or 100. So Eddie Castro's a good rider. We love Eddie, and we wish him all the best. Okay, next we have Anthony Dion. He's another young rider. Oh, that's why. He was tied with Anthony Dion, 11th and 12th place. Anthony got 4 points also with Fast Eddie. So they actually tied for 4th place, or actually it was 12th place, and they had 4 points. So Anthony is another one of those riders from Northern Cal. Another one of those good. They're very young. They're just really young. They gotta have time to develop. Speedway is like that. It's like step by step by step. You keep progressing, and you don't just become like United States champion overnight. You have to like pay your dues, and you have to work real hard. We have a bird coming at you right now. She's gonna come and say hi to everybody. She loves people, and she's a sweetheart. Oh, there she is. She's doing something here. So Anthony Dion is one of those riders that we see progressing and coming up, and after he pays his time and learns the craft continually of being a speed rider, he's going to be one of those top riders with Blake and Kyle. There's all these really young guys that are just coming up fast, but they're not quite there yet, but they will be there soon. And another one of the young riders that is Sebastian Palomisi. Sebastian, he got 14th place with 3 points. Sebastian, he was number 2 in the 21 and under championship this year, last month at the Paris Speedway. So with Luke Becker gone and Dylan the Pickle Romo gone, it looks like the Sebastian is possibly next in line for the next 21 and under Speedway Championship. But Blake Barillo and Anthony Dion and Kyle Cunningham will have something to say about that. So it's going to be a nice little mix in the next year or two for the 21 and under championship. It'll be a fight. It'll be a dog fight, and it'll be fun to watch. So hopefully Steve Evans can promote that event. And they had like a runoff before the races even started, I guess it was. And they had all these riders, and they had to compete for the last and final spot in the Speedway program. And I call it, I said, Sarah Corrs is going to win that runoff. She's going to go there. And Jimmy Gentili, he asked me, like, do you think that Sarah is going to go ahead and win that spot and to get on the big show, to get on the program? And I said, I think Sarah is going to go ahead and do that. She's going to win. She's going to have success, and she's going to get on the program. And she did. She was the first woman ever to get on the World Championship Qualifier program. So that was really cool. So congratulations, Sarah Corrs. That alone is a huge success, getting on the World Qualifier and being the first and only woman ever in the history of Speedway to make the World Qualifier program. So congratulations, Sarah. I told you that she's a good rider on Paris. She can ride that track. She's fast. That's like one of her home tracks. So when I saw that she was going to be racing on her kind of home track, her best track, we all have tracks that we are like our favorites. And I think Sarah likes the Paris Speedway track a lot. And she did really, really good. So congratulations, young lady. You did a great job. And my friend Michael Wells was the other guy who advanced. Michael used to hang out at the Beehive a lot when he was a young rider with his papa. And we talk all the time, hang out. And he ended up riding Speedway a little bit after that. And Michael actually was in the big show also. So that was really cool. And we got the runoff. And let's see, what else? Michael and Sarah got 2 points. So they were like 15th and 16th place, or something like that, 15th towards the bottom. And probably one of the biggest surprises, and I haven't talked to him, he's probably mad, he's probably going to kick my butt. But one of the big surprises of the night, nobody talking about it, like, shh, don't say anything, don't talk, was Austin, number 7, Navarrete. Austin Navarrato. Austin Navarrato. Austin got 1 point. I think he had bike problems or something, because Austin is an amazing rider. And he finished the evening in last with 1 point. So I think Austin probably blew his bike up or something, because Austin's just way too good of a rider to get that 1 point. I think, if the British League promoters are looking for young riders and talent, I definitely think Austin is one of those guys that definitely needs to be looked at. And hopefully he will get signing on with a team next year, because the kid's talent is off the charts. And he slides pretty dang cool. He gets sideways like, off the charts. Austin is just an awesome rider, and he deserves to be on a British League. I think he had bike problems. So if there's a promoter out there from England, don't think or look about the score. Look more at Austin, because Austin Navarrato is just an amazing rider. And it looks like he had some problems. So that was bad. And then I guess a couple other riders they got to ride. Redmond Bohannon, he got 1 point. I guess he finished with 1 point. And Mark Philiborn, he's another young rider. Both those guys are young. I didn't even know their name. I didn't know who these guys are. And Max said he didn't know who these guys are either, but they come out of nowhere. They're looking good for coming out of nowhere. And Mark finished with, I think, no points. And he was pointless. But these guys are young. I mean, these guys aren't even supposed to be there, and they're doing really good. So congratulations, Redmond and Mark, for doing well in that Speedway World Qualifier. It's just getting in there, getting your feet wet. It's not like because these guys aren't at the top, they're no good. They're really good, and they're just like so young, and they're getting started. It's a step-by-step progress, like I mentioned. And these guys that started at the bottom, and they're going to work their way up, probably towards the top. So let's see what happens. So overall, it was a great evening. It was a cold evening at the Paris Speedway. And it was just the top 16 riders were battling it out for a spot to 2 spots to get on that world qualifier. And the first place rider got $1,000, a cool $1,000 bill. No, they don't have a $1,000 bill, but Max got $1,000, and Brock got $750. There was like the prize money was like $5,750 or something like that. It was a lot of money. It's almost $6,000. So that was really cool. So they're able to give the money to the riders, and they had a really good purse for that evening. And it was cold. I guess everyone was freezing. I was watching like pictures of everyone, and they're just like freezing. Max couldn't sit down. He had his uniform zipped up, and he was walking around the whole night to stay warm, and everyone was just freezing cold. So sorry about that. I guess some of these riders are going to be riding in England, and it gets really, really cold in England. So I guess this will be a good training ground to ride in England, especially at the beginning of the season when it's like the winter time, when it's kind of cold out there. So they're going to have that qualifying round. And I guess the top finishers are going to go in August. They're going to have that. And, but I called it in the last week that Max was going to do good, and Brock Nickel was going to do real good. I wasn't really sure about Billy Gennaro, because I know that these young guns, these young lions, the young lions are coming out, and they're really good. So hopefully, you know, we're going to see more of the young lions. And but now these guys are like older now. They're not like remember we had some of these young riders from Northern California. These guys like Luke Becker, Max, and Brock, they're young, but they're a little bit more mature, and they're climbing up that ladder. So they're knocking on the door for a shot at the United States Championship, the AMA National Championship. Max yesterday, he said that he really wanted to wear that #1 AMA championship on his back, the USA #1 AMA championship. So a lot of these riders, if they don't get a good offer, some of these riders, they're going to stay home and they're going to gun for that championship. So that's going to be really cool. So congratulations for all you guys for what you've done. It was a great night. I don't think there was any serious injuries. It was too cold to fall down. And the Speedway bikes run really, really fast when it's cold. So the bikes like to try to not get overheated. And it was so cold that the bikes could never get overheated, and they run really fast. And Steve Evans went ahead and he put on a really great show. We'll have Bebop say hi to you here. Hey, Bebop. Yeah, Steve Evans put on a great show, and he did a really good job. There's a lot of work, you know, putting that show together. It's a big deal. It was the last race of 2020, the amazing 2020, the greatest Speedway year in history. And like I mentioned, Steve Evans, he ran all the events. He was the only promoter in US Speedway to run every event. So that was Steve Evans. He did a great job. So congratulations, Steve Evans. And we had, I guess it was Tom Fox doing the refereeing, and we had all the great Chris was announcing. They had lots of, you know, everybody behind that show, and they did a great job. So congratulations to you guys. You guys pulled it off. We had Kenny Hansen inspecting the bikes. And I don't know if there's any drug testing. There's supposed to be drug testing. I don't, she's laughing. There's no drugs going on. These guys are clean. We all know that. They wouldn't be that stupid. So that was a great year. And so we want to congratulate all the riders. They did a really great job. And 2020 turned out to be, at the end, a successful Speedway year. And there was no like COVID stopping the Speedway season. Even though it stopped some of the tracks, still these riders need to get seat time. These young riders, they need to like they need to be riding. They need to have seat time. They don't need to be staying home, watching the news. They need to be out there riding and practicing their craft and getting seat time and getting better. And that's what Steve Evans did. He gave these riders a chance to progress and get better. Look at Max. He went ahead and won that event. He was riding that track every week, winning the main event, scratch main events. And he went ahead with all that practice and the experience, and he pretty much blew everyone away last Saturday night. So you can kind of attribute that to all the racing that Max had done, and lots of these other guys have got some practice in riding too. But this year was difficult, right? It was difficult for a lot of the riders. My shirt's coming down. And it was difficult for a lot of these riders to get a lot of seat time. So Steve Evans gave us lots of seat time with the younger riders, which is really good. So congratulations, and thank you so much, Steve Evans, for pulling off a really good ending of the season. So what do we have next? We have Christmas, New Year's, coming up like a couple days. I have my Christmas tree right over here, and it's not in the picture, but we have Christmas, New Year's, and we have the 2021 Speedway season coming up. So there's going to be some new surprises. I saw Steve Evans up there in Bakersfield, up in Kern County. I guess he has a new speedway, this big speedway track. It's like Ventura. It's like a half a mile track or something. Ow, my ears are like blowing up. And so Steve Evans is going to go ahead and have this track up there. We'll see what happens. And, this speedway hopefully will be on the rise, and we'll have a chance to have a really good 2021 season. So we want to thank everybody for hanging in there this year. It's a tough year, but we ended up in a really great note last Saturday night at the Paris Speedway. So that's really fantastic. It gives us a glimmer of hope, and we have the 2021 season coming up very soon. I think Steve Evans has a race coming up in January. That's like 2 weeks or something. So the Speedway season doesn't stop very long. It continues on and on and on. I want to race. I want to get back there and spin a few laps. That sounds like fun. So anyways, but thank you so much for joining us tonight at the live show and hanging out in our new studio, the Beehive. We're having fun. We had our first live interview with Max Romo yesterday, and we hope that she's really noisy. Yeah, she's very noisy. And we hope to have a lot more interviews. But today I wanted to recap the last race at the Paris Speedway because I had that script ready, and then I asked Max if he wanted to come on the show, thinking he would say, "No, I don't want to come on your show." And then Max said, "Yes, I can't wait to come on your show." So I had to put the script down, and so we did that show today, and hopefully we'll get another rider on next time. So we want to go ahead and thank you so much for enjoying and for sharing and for being a part of Speedway. It's really great, and we just want to go ahead and encourage you to keep on keeping on, and the 2021 season, we hopefully will have a really great year and a lot of races. Jaylene Oxley, she said, 2021 is going to be bigger and better than before. So we hope to see the Costa Mesa Speedway come back alive in 2021 because it was like 50 some years that Costa Mesa Speedway has been running continuous races. And this year there was nada. So we hope we can bring the Costa Mesa Speedway back in 2021, and Industry Hills and Fast Fridays and in New York. Jason over there, as we just hope we get the Speedway rolling back big in 2021. So thank you so much. And we ask you to like the Speedway channel, the Brian B. Speedway, and we have lots of videos too if you want to check out. So thank you so much. And please like, share, subscribe, and ring the bell, and have a great night and great day. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.